Hey, hey. Today I will explore the platform of Shopify developer. I will try to go from nobody as a Shopify developer to freelance level of developer. That is my goal, and I state it straight up because I think it will be fun for you and for us to really see the progress from zero as a Shopify developer to, I don't know, somebody. So let's go. I will start by really just sharing my screen and really just see what is the content of Shopify development. Um, like, what are the ways to make it as a Shopify developer? Really. Okay, basically, if you already are a developer and you know JavaScript, HTML, CSS, you just have to really learn about Liquid and GraphQL to really do something, to really be dangerous.
and also to up to $160,000, as you become more knowledgeable and you have more experience. Now, of course, you can also make way more money if you are your own developer, like in the sense of like you're creating your own digital products and you're selling them yourself. Okay, because now you're not just working for one company, you're creating themes that you can sell to hundreds, if not thousands, of companies per year. So that's something that to keep in mind. Okay. The next one that we have right here is Shopify Plus. Okay. Now, having knowledge of Shopify Plus can definitely give you an extra boost, extra $10,000, $20,000 on whatever you might have. I'm not going to go and list everything that you need for a Shopify theme developer on the Shopify Plus, but just know that basically if you are going to be a Shopify Plus developer, you need to have the knowledge of being a Shopify theme developer. Okay. Shopify platform, you need to know Liquid, you need to know Shopify. Have to give you us, okay? Now, having knowledge of Shopify Plus can definitely give you an extra boost, extra $10,000, $20,000 on whatever you might have. I'm not gonna go and list everything that you need for a Shopify theme developer I'm not gonna go, extra $10,000, $20,000 on whatever you might have. I'm not gonna go and list everything that you need for a Shopify theme developer on the Shopify Plus, but just know that basically if you are gonna be a Shopify Plus developer, you need to have the knowledge of being a Shopify theme developer. Okay, Shopify platform, you need to know Liquid, you need to know Shopify Plus apps, right? Script editor, so you also need to learn Ruby, just the basics. You don't need to be a master of it, right? But you need to know how to use Ruby for the script editor, and this is pretty much to create, certain scripts for this, right? Shopify platform, to have the knowledge of being a Shopify theme developer. Okay, Shopify platform, you need to know Liquid, you need to know Shopify Plus apps, right? Script editor, so you also need to learn Ruby, just the basics. You don't need to be a master of it, right? But you need to know how to use Ruby for the script editor. You're a script editor, so you also need to know Shopify Plus apps, right? Script editor, so you also need to learn Ruby, just the basics. You don't need to be a master of it, right? But you need to know how to use Ruby for the script editor, and this is pretty much to create certain scripts that are going to be customized for the checkout, right, for the cart system, etc. Okay, you also have the Shopify headless CMS storefront API. Okay, understanding how that works. A lot of companies that you're going to see that's using Shopify Plus, they're going that route. Instead of hosting their websites through Shopify, they're using Shopify as a headless route. A lot of companies that you're going to see that's using Shopify Plus, they're going that route. Instead of hosting their websites through Shopify, they're using Shopify as a headless CMS. Now, the next thing that their websites through Shopify, using Shopify Plus, they're going that route. Instead of hosting their websites through Shopify, they're using Shopify as a headless CMS. Now, the next thing that I would say that you got to learn is definitely a framework like either Hydrogen, right? Or you want to learn how to use Next.js to be able to create this. What I would say that you got to learn is definitely a framework like either Hydrogen, right? Or you want to learn how to use Next.js to be able to create this storefronts, to be able to communicate with Shopify and use it as a headless CMS, which just makes your life so much easier. And a lot of companies are going this route. So you want to have those skills. Okay. Now, again, I'm mentioning GraphQL here, even though I mentioned it before, but it's a given. If you don't know GraphQL, you don't know how to query the data, right? It's gonna be very difficult for you. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, now how much money can you make out of this? Well, basically you could get 100,000 to 160,000, right? As you can see here, you could get started as a Shopify theme developer, get 80,000. But guess what? If you do know Shopify Plus development, right, you pretty much could get that extra bump of 20,000, and whatever it is, you might be getting paid 100,000 before, but now that you know how to work with Shopify Plus apps, or basically Shopify Plus the platform, you could get an extra $20,000 on your pay. Okay. Now the next one we have here is the full stack. This is where it starts getting a little bit complicated in the sense of you need to know everything. Again, you need to know everything about the front end, right? And you need to basically now also know about the back end and how to set up full stack applications, because most people think that you're actually hosting your applications within Shopify. Next one we have here is the full stack. This is where it starts getting a little bit complicated in the sense of you need to know everything. Again, you need to know everything about the front end, right? And you need to basically now also know about the back end and how to set up full stack applications, because most people think that you're actually hosting your applications within Shopify, but that's not really the case. You basically have a full stack application, right? And you need to basically now also know about the back end and how to set up full stack applications, because most people think that you're actually hosting your applications within Shopify, but that's not really the case. You basically have a full stack application on a separate server, and then now you're embedding the application through an iframe within Shopify. But that's not really the case. You basically have a full stack application on a separate server, and then now you're embedding the application through an iframe within Shopify's platform and communicating with Shopify through a full stack, hosting your applications within Shopify, because most people think that you're actually hosting your applications within Shopify, but that's not really the case. You basically have a full stack application on a separate server, and then now you're embedding the application through an iframe within Shopify's platform and communicating with Shopify, a full stack application on a separate server, and then now you're embedding the application through an iframe within Shopify's platform and communicating with you're actually hosting your applications within Shopify, but that's not really the case. You basically have a full stack application on a separate server, and then now you're embedding the application through an iframe within Shopify's platform and communicating with Shopify through a full stack application on a separate server, and then now you're embedding the application through an iframe within Shopify's platform and communicating the application through an iframe within a separate server, and then now you're embedding the application through an iframe within Shopify's platform and communicating with Shopify's platform through APIs. It's a little weird, but hey, it is what it is. It's the web. Okay, so let's get started with this Shopify app developer backend language. You could do this with Node.js, PHP, Python. It doesn't matter. You decide what you want to choose, right? I will definitely say Node.js and PHP are the best options just because there's a lot of tools that's out there, open source, that is basically going to speed up your whole process. If you go with Python, guess what? You're going to have to build everything from scratch. If you decide to go with Java, guess what? You're going to have to build everything from scratch. You're basically going in the deep end by yourself. But when you go with Node.js and PHP, there's tools that everybody else is using, and guess what? You get to benefit from that. Now, from there, of course, you need to understand the whole process of full stack development. If you have no idea on how to create a full stack application, this is not for you right now, okay? The next one that we have right here is embedded applications, understanding the process of how you're gonna be able to communicate with Shopify, right? And all of this is part of the whole development, right? But I wanted to add it there and emphasize that embedded apps, this is the way to go, okay? React, right, which is a framework for the front end that most companies use, and also Shopify is actually pushing for you to use because they have different components like the ones for Polaris, which allows you to have the same view and the same look as if it was a native application within Shopify. This is what they use, so you're basically getting their components, so your application feels like it was inside of Shopify, okay? The next thing that we have here is something that's new, which is app blocks. Understanding how to create your applications and using the app block extensions and things like that is very important. Understanding how app billing works, super important. Are you going to be charging recurring payments, you know, $10 a month, $15 a month, $50 a month? Are you going to be charging a single payment, you know, $5 for installing the application? Are you going to be charging per usage, right? How many requests they're getting, or whatever it might be, whatever your application might be going for. Okay, so understanding app billing is super important. Another thing is the Shopify POS. Yes, you can go in and create a Shopify application and actually have it on a POS system. Okay, so think of it like this. Shopify is for the web, but also too, they have their own POS machines in different stores. So there's companies that, you know, they say, I got a boutique, I sell on Shopify's website, right? But I also want to use your POS system. And guess what? You can create an application for those type of companies, right? Also too, you want to learn how to work with webhooks. I know this is kind of weird, but not everybody knows how to work with webhooks and you know, communicating back and forth between different servers. I think it's something that is very important for people to know about. Also too, again, GraphQL, you want to learn how to use GraphQL because that's how you're going to be querying the APIs from Shopify. And of course, the most important thing about this, okay, especially if you are not working for a company, because you could work for a company full time and be a Shopify app developer creating apps for that company in-house, right? It could be a private app. But if you are going to be creating your own apps to sell your own service, or, you know, provide whatever service you want to do on your own and be like an indie developer, guess what? Without marketing, everything that you see here is useless. It doesn't matter how good your app is. It doesn't matter that you apps to, right? We're creating apps for that company in-house, right? It could be a private app. But if you are going to be creating your own apps to sell your own service, or provide whatever service you want to do on your own and be like an indie developer, guess what? Without marketing, everything that you see here is useless. It doesn't matter how good your app is. It doesn't matter how efficient it is, how optimized it is, how much work you put in. If you don't know how to actually get it in front of the customers, the people that's going to go in and install your application, all of this is a waste of time. Straight up. I'm just being 100% honest. You could literally be somebody creating apps and no one knows that your apps exist, and you
just got an order. Yay! Now you have to make it, pack it, ship it, track it. That's a whole lot of work. What if it was more like this? Just create it.
You got maybe 1 or 2 reviews per year, and guess what? That was a waste of time. So understanding marketing, understanding how to get emails, how to go in and promote it, maybe run some ads, right? How to use social media to get some traction for your application. Like, this is important. Without marketing, this is useless. Okay. Now you can make of 100K to 1 million plus and beyond. Okay. I'm putting these numbers here, but these numbers really don't mean anything when it comes to Shopify app development, because you could come in and say, I'm doing a Shopify app on the side and I make an extra $50,000 a year. That's nice. Maybe you just want some side income. But if you go in and you take it seriously and you build a company around your application, guess what? Sky's the limit. Like, we just seen, I think Klaviyo, got like a $1 billion, right? And those are companies that started as Shopify apps. So again, sky's the limit. Okay, there's literally the companies going to Y Combinator, whatever. You see them on TechCrunch, and they're creating Shopify apps, not even software as a service for every single platform, just for Shopify. And they're getting funding because Shopify development is where it's at. Okay. Now the next thing that I want to put in here is, guess what? With all those skills that you learn as a Shopify theme developer, Shopify app developer, right? You can also take this route at the end, which is Shopify software engineer, and actually work for the company. For those of you guys that don't know, right now Shopify is running ads. They're basically promoting all over the place, like, hey, we have jobs and we are hiring. Okay. So what are the skills that you need? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, they're focusing on TypeScript, React, GraphQL, Apollo, Ruby on Rails, because yes, the whole platform of Shopify is built on top of Ruby on Rails. Now, of course, they tweaked it. They've made it a little bit better. They've added a lot of cool things to it, right? But at its core is Ruby on Rails. So you need to know Ruby on Rails for this. And yeah, man. And of course, this part, experience. Okay. You're not getting a job at Shopify, the company, by just showing up and be like, hey guys, I'm a nice guy, right? It's not going to happen, my guy. You got to have experience. You got to show that you have done this. And this is why I say, you know what? Let's say you go in and do a year as a Shopify theme developer. Let's say you do a year as a Shopify Plus developer, right? Shopify app developer, etc. Like, now you could go in and say, you know what? I want to go in and work with Shopify. You can actually do that. And that's also part of your roadmap. Okay. So yeah, guys, if you like this content, please make sure you show some love. Make sure you like this video. And I will say, guys, come check out codingphase.com, because everything that I'm talking about here, we actually teach it at codingphase.com. Everything, like literally everything that we talked about, we teach at codingphase.com. If you come over here and check out the career paths, you can look at Shopify theme developer, right? We have everything in order, from top to bottom, everything that you need. And we teach you everything in there so you can succeed as a Shopify developer. Same thing as Shopify app developer, right? You can come in and pretty much learn everything that you need as far as, Shopify development. Like, we give you Koa, which is something that they promote on Shopify. We give you PHP and Laravel if you want to go in and create it with PHP. Shopify app development with Node.js, master Shopify app development course with Node.js. And here we're using Prisma, right? So it's like 2 ways of doing applications, right? This is using the latest version, which is the Shopify CLI way of creating applications. Okay. Advanced Shopify app development with PHP and Laravel, right? And from there, of course.
All right. Fastest way to become a Shopify developer in 2022. This time, we're going to be focusing on the 3 stages of going from 0 to your first few thousands in projects, then how you can get to a consistent 10K per month, and how you can take it from there if you want to scale this into an agency or service business, doing $1 million per year or more in revenue. So the stakes are high. And if you're new here, my name is Jan. All right, fastest way to become a Shopify developer in 2022.
Let's go.
This time, we're going to be focusing on the 3 stages of going from 0 to your first few thousands in projects,
Let's go.
then how you can get to a consistent 10K per month, and how you can take it from there if you want to scale this into an agency or service business, doing $1 million per year or more in revenue. So the stakes are high. And if you're new here, my name is Jan. I personally went from mechanical engineering to freelancing, then also worked as a developer in Germany's fastest growing Shopify agency for about 2 years. And nowadays we're running a bootcamp where we help our students master these first 2 stages all day long, 5 days a week. So I honestly think the following roadmap is going to be really good, and it can save you a bunch of time by just avoiding the same mistakes that I did. And if you would still like to get some more personal guidance after this video, then there's going to be a link in the description, gets you to a type form. You can answer a few questions about yourself. And then I will just send you an email telling you exactly what I'd be doing or what I'd be focusing on if I was in your situation. Sounds good? Awesome. So then let's have a look. All right. So then stage 1, you're starting from absolute scratch and you know nothing about coding yet, but you want to make the first few thousands in projects. The few things I'll be focusing on here would be A, learning the technical basics, and we will go over these here in a second. Then after that, B, immediately start applying. We will be focusing on here would be the first stage 1. You're starting from absolute scratch and you know nothing about coding yet, but you want to make the first few thousands in projects. The few things I'll be focusing on here would be A, learning the technical basics, and we will go over these here in a second. Then after that, B, immediately start applying for the first simple projects, the projects at your level of comfort, and yes, they exist, just gotta know where to look for them. And then C, you wanna do it fast, because yeah, first of all, none of us have unlimited motivation, so the faster you can build up some momentum, get your first results, hear great feedback, see the websites you're building, the better, because yeah, first of all, you gotta know where to look for them. And then C, you wanna do it fast, because yeah, first of all, none of us have unlimited motivation. So the faster you can build up some momentum, get your first results, hear great feedback, see the websites you're building, the better, because it just drastically reduces your chances of quitting.
Mèche Paris, c'est une marque de pyjama féminin éco-responsable qu'on co-crée avec nos futures clientes. Lorsqu'on crée une entreprise, il y a beaucoup d'administratifs. On a donc cherché un contrôle très simple d'utilisation et intuitif.
Cancer already took my leg away. Don't let it take me. My whole leg had.
And then, yeah, second, I mean, obviously it's also important to get paid because we all need income to survive, but especially in the beginning, the highest leverage you have or the most valuable thing you have really is your time. And the sooner you're able to go full-time in on this, like on your own schedule, doing work you truly enjoy with your undivided attention, that's when your learnings and your income as a developer gets to a much higher level for the very first time. And there's a different important thing on each of the stages, but for the first one, yeah, it's definitely your time and undivided attention. So the faster we get there, the better. Okay, now in terms of the technical skills, my recommendation would be to start with HTML and CSS. And you don't have to be a master with this, but up to a point where you understand how a website is structured. Maybe you can build a small section or a small landing page. You know how to create a layout. You know how to arrange containers. So very foundational things like that. The next thing I would then learn is how to work with a platform. And if we're talking Shopify development, obviously that's going to be Shopify. But the reason here is very simple, because if you compare a completely custom built website where like 100% is custom code, everything is built from scratch, with a Shopify based website, you will find that 60% is already taken care of by the platform.
On your site, Shopify site, 60% is already taken care by Shopify.
So these are things that every online store needs, things like payments, customer accounts, login systems, security, card system, things like that. Another 20% can then be custom configured. These are things like products, collections, set custom configured.
20% can be. Another 20.
These are things like products, collections, setting up a theme, setting up shipping zones, things that have to be adjusted on a per client basis. And coding is only needed for these last 20%.
It's really
So these are things that are not included per default, or if you want to make some very custom design changes. But the main benefit here is that you don't have to learn all of programming at once. You can just focus on that tiny bit which is required.
the main benefit is you don't have to learn all programming. Yes, you can. Yes.
Required for these 20%, and I think a solid understanding of HTML and CSS will already get you quite far. Beyond that, I also still think e-commerce is a great niche to get started with, because, for example, if you build an online store, you do some work, your client sells more of their products, they make money, and therefore your services are directly valuable to them. And it's always a good thing if the value you create can be measured to some capacity, because then it's also easier to charge adequate prices in return. All right, so that's it for the technical side of things. And now, how do you go about applying for the first simple projects? First of all, I think you should build yourself a portfolio website. So this is where you present yourself as a freelancer, you present the skills you have, as well as the services you want to offer. And here are also some tips. Ideally have a video or at least a photo of yourself, just to be more relatable. Main call to action should be to get in touch. Have a contact form, state the services you want to offer, and then also ideally have some demo projects related to the services you want to offer. Yeah, please have some form, state the services you want to offer, and then also ideally have some demo projects related to the services you want to offer. Yeah, please don't put your projects related to the services you want to offer. Yeah, please don't put your, here's my Java related to the services you want. And then also ideally have some demo projects related to the services you want to offer. Yeah, please don't put your, here's my JavaScript calculator kind of thing on the website. You put your demo projects related to the server. And then also ideally have some demo projects related to the services you want to offer. Yeah, please don't put your, here's my JavaScript calculator kind of thing on the website. Your clients don't want a calculator. I'm sure they have one. So yeah, should be e-commerce related. And if you've spent the last few weeks learning, I'm sure you have a few things. And if not, you could even build some projects specifically with that intent and then just replace them over time with real world work that you do. Okay, now with that in place, we also need to find a way to get in touch with potential clients. And there are different strategies depending on your personality. So for example, you could start on your personal network and ask friends and family, or even post your portfolio page on your socials, because maybe you already have a friend who might need your help. That would be the easiest. You could also look for e-commerce or Shopify related meetups in your city. Just go there, talk to some merchants in person, and also grab the free snacks. So there's every reason to go there. You could start answering questions on Facebook groups or on the forum for free. And the next thing you know is people will ask you for follow-up projects. I think answering for free also takes off the edge a bit, because no one expects perfect quality if it's for free, but you will still get a feeling for the feedback you get and then thereby build your confidence. You can also try to use freelancing platforms. In the beginning, I would recommend Upwork. If you have a professional looking profile there and you also in the beginning, I would recommend Upwork. If you have a professional looking profile there and you also communicate well, that's a very predictable way of getting your first clients. Or you can also do some direct outreach to business owners with maybe very outdated websites and then propose to help them with a remake. So I would recommend you just pick the one or two that you like best and then stick with them. And in the process, you will learn so much about sales and marketing, how to present yourself, how to communicate, how to write emails, what to say on a call, how to price your projects. And in the beginning, you will also, it's very likely that you will underbid some jobs, but it's perfectly cool because you're still learning, but now it's at least paid learning, hands-on, on the job, instead of just memorizing things. All right, now what I've seen countless of times now is that when people get to the 3K per month mark, they tend to get stuck. And now the question becomes, how can we surpass that? How can we get to the next stage? How can we get to a consistent 10K per month? And earlier when we talked about how in the beginning, time is the most valuable thing you have, because it's kind of proportional. The more time you put in, the more you learn, the more you make. Now it's a different story because, unfortunately, we can't just repeat that process forever. You can't always put in 10 times more work and then get 10 times the results. You will run out of time pretty quickly. Now we have to find ways to apply some leverage. The question is no longer, how can I put in more time? The question is, how can I make the most of my time? And since at that point, you've already proven your problem-solving abilities, I think the only things you should be focusing on are better pricing and better clients. And we can even break it down. If you want to make 10K per month, that's 2,300 per week. And if your hourly rate is 35, then it's 90s. I think the only things you should be focusing on are better pricing and better clients.
Be focusing on at that stage.
And we can even break it down. If you want to make 10K per month, that's 2,300 per week. And if your hourly rate is 35, then you would have to work 65 hours per week. But if your hourly rate is 100, then you would only need to work 23 hours per week. So that shows how pricing, then you would only need to work 23 hours per week. So that shows how pricing can give you very high leverage on your time. And at that point, it might be a good idea to look into some pricing strategies. Maybe you want to experiment with ongoing support packages, maybe fixed pricing for your projects. So you could charge 2,300, 3,600, maybe 5K for a store setup instead of billing by the hour. You might want to look into how to structure proposals and different pricing strategies. Now, as for better clients, that mainly means they can afford your services. So here I'd be looking for more established brands. I think they should make at least multiple 5 figures per year in revenue. So that could be something like 60 or 80,000 per year or above. And that's mainly because these companies want to grow, they have some money to invest. And interestingly enough, oftentimes it's also easier to work with someone who wants to go from 80 to 100,000 per year than it would be to work with someone going from 0 to their first 20,000, although it's the same absolute difference. But the one starting at 80 might already have better work ethics, they might have some marketing skills, they might have worked with other developers in the past, and then they deliver assets faster. And it's just a more professional work relationship. And then also given that you've been working for a while now, you should have some reviews, testimonials, case studies, projects, and that will make it way easier to get in touch with these brands now. So main things to focus on in this stage would be better pricing and better clients. And if you're currently struggling with that, make sure to fill out the type form down below. I might have some ideas here as well. All right, now you have access to good clients. Your pricing is great. How do you take it from there and build this into a business doing $1 million per year in revenue? This is where it gets really interesting. And I think in order to make that, 3 different components have to come together. First of all, your offer, then sales and marketing, and some component of fulfillment/customer support. And in terms of your offer, I think now is a good time to specialize, because the easiest way to make $1 million in revenue is not by doing many different things. It's by doing one thing or a very few things and then repeating them over and over again. And you can actually calculate how many times you have to do a thing. And that will also back up my point why it's important to specialize in a second. But first, let's have a look at the numbers and break it down. So if you want to make 1 million in total sales and you have an offer that's worth 100,000, you would only need to sell this to 10 people. If you have an offer worth 10,000, then you would need to sell this to 100 people. If you have one that's worth 5K, it would be 200 people. If it would be 2K, it would be 500 people. If it would be 1,000, then you would need to sell this to 1,000 customers. And if you have a very low ticket offer, maybe something like $50, then you would need to have 20,000 customers per year. Or if we're looking at a software, it might be 50 per month. Then you would need to have 1,600 active users. Now, this might be very different for everyone, but personally, I feel very comfortable creating packages in the $1,000 to $5,000 range, because that's where I feel I can provide a lot of value for the money people spend. And also 2, 3, 4, maybe 500 customers, that seems a lot more doable to me than, let's say, 20,000. And personally, I don't have much experience in the enterprise range. I don't even know how sales cycles look exactly. But yeah, as I said, this might be different for everyone and also depending on your background. Okay, now given you want to do something 3, 4, 500 times per year, I think at this stage, it's also very likely that you will need a team. And that's the type of leverage you can apply at this stage. So in the beginning, it was putting in more time. Then it was better pricing to make the most of your time. And now it's deploying some capital to bring in other people and thereby creating even more leverage. The problem, though, at this stage is that usually you can't afford the people who are straight up better than you. So you might bring in people who are a bit less experienced, and then you have to provide some training for them, documents, processes, give them structure and manage the team. So this is not freeing up your time. You will only be able to get more done. And that's also why I think it's so important to specialize, because it's just way easier to create these structures, processes, documents if you only have one or a few things to focus on. And it will also help you to become more efficient. You can become really good at the one thing you do and thereby create better results for your customers, get more testimonials, reviews, which also helps with marketing. And it's way easier to get to know your ideal client, dial in your marketing message. So there are actually tons of benefits to specialization at this stage. Then the last variable that we haven't touched on yet is the marketing and sales pipeline. So this is people hearing about your offer for the very first time, and then also the process of converting them into a customer. I mean, 2, 3, 4, 500 customers, they have to come from somewhere. But there are only a handful of ways to do this. The only ones I could think of were organic content, paid advertisements, affiliate marketing, outbound, and referral. I might be missing something here, but these were the ones that came to mind. And you can just pick one of these and then build your sales process around that to establish the constant flow of leads that you need. And these were the 3 variables: your offer, marketing and sales, and fulfillment / your team. And that's it. Anyways, that's it for today's video. We've seen the 3 stages and what to focus on at each. First, it's learning the basics and being able to go full-time. Then it's better pricing and better clients. And then it's building structure, building a team, and specialization. I really hope you can use this roadmap and actually spend a lot of time thinking about these things. And as I said, if you need help, check out the Typeform link in the description. Advice is always going to be for free, and we only sell the implementation. That is, if you need help with putting things into action or want more personal guidance. And yeah, really hope you find some value in that. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, it's really good though. It's really, really good. Put that here. Yeah, we can tell he has skin in the game, like we say. You have skin in the game. Shopify dev.
Shopify is one of the most popular e-commerce platforms on the market today. So if you're looking to start an online store, Shopify is a great option. But what if you want to customize your Shopify store beyond the options available in the theme editor? That's where Shopify developers come in. Shopify developers are web developers who specialize in creating custom themes and apps for Shopify.
It's an artificial intelligence. It's not a real person that's talking here. I swear it's not a real person. Is it a real person? Like, he doesn't look real. He just doesn't look real. Does he have many? Yes, I knew it. I knew it, bro. This guy just doesn't look real.
Shopify stores. If you're looking to hire a Shopify developer, you've come to the right place. With just a few clicks, our developers can make your dream store a reality. Shopify is one of the most popular e-commerce platforms on the market today.
Interesting.
So if you're looking to start an online store, Shopify is a great option. But what if you want to customize your Shopify store beyond the options available in the theme editor? That's where Shopify developers
I don't know
come
where
in.
they're from.
Shopify developers are web developers who specialize in creating custom themes and apps for Shopify stores. If you're looking to hire
Who's this guy? Who is this guy, bro? Never heard of him. Let's subscribe.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another edition of Coding with Robbie. My name's Robbie, and in this video, we're going to be covering Shopify theme development. So Shopify is an e-commerce platform. It's similar to WooCommerce or BigCommerce, and it is hands down the best e-commerce platform to develop for. So it's super easy to get started with, and in this video, we're going to cover it from front to back. So by the end, you should be able to code any theme you want. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. Let's go. All right, so there's a bunch of setup we got to do before we can start developing our theme. So the first thing you're going to want to do is download a Shopify theme kit. This is a command line tool. It basically watches your files and syncs them with Shopify whenever there's a change.
Okay.
So come to
You know what? I will not use
Shopify.dev.
I will not use this for the moment. I keep it on the low.
We'll be talking about the state of Shopify.
But let's watch this one.
Different workflows which are available for theme developers, recent features which have been released for themes, and our vision as well for the future. So just a quick introduction on myself. My name is Liam. I'm a developer advocate at Shopify. I've been with Shopify for about 7 years now. So in that time, I've been creating a lot of content for developers looking to learn how to build on top of Shopify. I've been creating a lot of YouTube videos, blog posts, and of course, being able to be here. This is my first time visiting Australia, so it's extremely exciting for me. And it's amazing connecting with our developer community. So yeah, over the next 2 days, please do grab me.
The state of Shopify theme development. Let's go.
So for this session, this is going to be the plan for our journey. First, we're going to look at where we are right now. Then we're going to look at where we are going. And finally, we're going to look at how we will get there. And then we should have some time for a Q&A towards the end. So to answer the question, where are we right now? We need to take a slight step back into the past, back to summer of 2021 and Shopify Unite, which was a milestone event for theme developers. We had the launch of Online Store 2.0, which enabled sections on all pages. We had meta fields natively launched for themes, which allowed us to have much more flexibility and personalization on different pages. We saw the relationship of apps and themes become much more closely combined with theme app extensions. We had, of course, a vision for custom storefronts for hydrogen. And last but not least, we also had the reopening of the theme store after the hiatus for a while. And in the months since then, we've been able to progressively enhance many of these features. So we've improved with the limitations that we had on sections and blocks by making more sections, more blocks available on pages. We have more dynamic sections available on more pages for enhancing meta fields. We also made the developer experience of working with theme app extensions much better as well. So all this to say is themes are much more powerful, more adaptable, and more valuable to merchants than ever before. So just to look more generally at the ecosystem in general, we see quite strong and steady growth. We're seeing millions of merchants are looking to improve their store, looking to customize the online experience. and their buying experience for their customers. We firmly believe there's great opportunity here for developers looking to enter this space. If we look across to the App Store in particular, last year we saw that 400 million was paid out to our app developers, which is an increase of over 80% from the previous year. And of course, we reduced our revenue share. Merchants who earn up to their first 100 in Australia, design really allows merchants to have quite.
Okay. I don't know if it's...
Hello everyone and welcome to this video in which I'm going to show you how to make your Shopify website fully customizable. That's right, you no longer have to use the templates with a little bit of coding know-how. I'm going to show you how to take a demo template and explain how you can change the styling on components, how you can switch out components and move them around, or add in your own components that you can make and add to the repository. This is all thanks to the Hydrogen plus Oxygen, or in other words, the Shopify stack for headless e-commerce. By this, I mean you can build headless storefronts with a React-based framework for Shopify. You're essentially supplied with pre-made components that you can use, as well as utilities that map directly to Shopify's APIs. So that part is all Hydrogen at work, and once you're ready to deploy your site, in comes Oxygen, Shopify's global hosting solution that's just a simple git push away. Okay, so this is going to be a super fun video, as this is a cool feature from Shopify that I personally am excited about and can see why it's so super useful to small business owners and entrepreneurs out there. It also allows us as devs to cut out creating a whole e-commerce backend, as we can simply create our own front end and plug it into Shopify's existing system. As prerequisites, an understanding of React and JavaScript is advised, but if you don't know this, please feel free to follow along anyway, as I will be taking things step by step in order to show you how to customize a Shopify storefront. Okay, so what are we waiting for? Let's do it.
Vous êtes entrepreneur, mais vous n'êtes pas obligé de tout faire tout seul. Faites-vous accompagner par Yono.
Okay, so let's do it. If you use the link in my description, you will be taken to the Hydrogen Shopify developer page, in which you can find all the documentation and the commands in order to start your demo store. Okay, we are going to be starting with a demo store just because then we have a template to work with for our short front, and it will just help us kind of get an idea of how everything should work, and will show us all the components that have been pre-made for us as well. So that is what I'm going to do. But first off, I want you to go to Shopify and actually, add some products to your store, because we are going to be using that backend in order to get those products and put it on our customized front end. So let's do it. Just go ahead and skin sensation. So I'm going to be, and then I'm just going to add to the test purposes. You dashboard that I'm not sure I'm here managing, or what should we call it? Well, so let's do it. Just go ahead and go to Shopify and sign up for free. Now, I've already done this, so I'm simply just going to log in, of course, and go to my dashboard. So here you will see I have made a store before. I'm just going to create a new store so that we can do this together step by step. So go ahead and select create another store, or create a new store, whichever option you are on. Of course, for me, it's another store. Now, I'm going to call my store, what should we call it? Well, my products are skin products, so I'm going to go ahead and call my store Skin Sensationals. So that is just something I have chosen. Of course, please feel free to pick your own. And if you're just running this through as a demo, then you could just do test store. I mean, it's really up to you. And just create the store. Now, this should initialize your store. We are treating this, like I said, as a kind of back end. So we're going to be managing our orders from here, managing our inventory. We can add products from here and so on. This is just for us to see as the shop owners, right? So first off, we're just going to go through these steps a little bit. We're going to tell Shopify a little bit about us. So I'm just going to select, I'm not selling products yet. Select that I'm not sure yet where else I'm going to be selling. And I'm going to select that my current revenue is 0 as I'm just getting started. Again, this is totally up to you. This won't affect what we're building. So just go ahead and fill that out. And of course, you need to fill out an address, So I'm going to do that and just click enter my store. And great. So here we are now on the shop dashboard. Now we can essentially just go to the online store. It will just give us a generic store that we have on our domain. However, we don't want this. We want to make our own custom theme, right? So we don't want to customize the theme. We want to make our own theme. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a bit. First off, let's just add some products. So the first product I'm going to add is a skin pack called the Ordinary Pack. So I'm just going to give it a select. So again, it's important. If one more product, there we go, and just a description. We're going to change the price, and I'm going to change the SKU as well as the weight. And of course, once we have done all that, click save. Great. So we have 4 products. We have some stuff to work with. Now let's carry on. So now let's get to the coding part. Now this is so super easy. We essentially need to go back to the Hydrogen dev page. Just copy this command, npm init at Shopify/Hydrogen. Get up your terminals. Now, before we get going, I just want you to make sure that you have the latest version of Node installed, as this is important. If you don't have, I think version 16 and above, this might break. So just make sure to have the one that I have, which is 18.4.0, just to be on the same page. Okay, next I'm going to navigate. So using CD, I'm going to navigate to a directory where I store all my projects. Okay, so this is called WebStorm projects for me. You can choose to, store this project wherever you wish. It's just where I choose to store my development projects for tutorials. And I'm just going to paste in the command and hit enter. And that will, of course, do its thing. So it will essentially create a project for us with all the necessary files, all the necessary configuration that we need. I'm just going to hit Y to proceed, okay, because we need that package in order to proceed. So I'm just allowing it to install that package. And so great. We're going to have to change these, making sure that you upload your project and then run. This is a demo. Okay, of course, we're going to change all of this, but just have to do the configuration. So I have to change. I'm going to go for the store, which would be actually, if we go to settings right here, I'm going to store file has been, and now I'm just going to get out my code editor of choice, which is WebStorm. And once we have our code editor, I'm just going to open up the project. So as we know, I call this Skin Sensationals. I'm going to open it up so I can see all the code that has been generated, all the files that have been generated, all the configuration that has been generated for me. And there we go. There's a lot. Okay. So there is a lot of files in here. However, first off, like I said, we want to connect to my actual Shopify store with my 4 products. So to do this, we're going to have to change the storefront token and the store domain. So I'm going to go back to my store. Okay, so here we have our online store. This is where you would be able to select the themes, but as we know, we're making our own theme. So we can actually ignore this and we can just go to settings. So if we go to settings right here, I'm now going to essentially get my storefront token. So I do this by clicking on the apps and sales channel, because we're going to have to tell it that we're developing an app for the store, which we are doing. We're doing that now. So let's go ahead and select develop apps for the store, allow custom app development, and again, allow custom app development here, create an app. And just for the sake of obviously the platform knowing what app's called, I'm going to call it Skin Sensationals app and click create app. Now, once in here, we need to do some configuration before we get that token. So I'm going to select API credentials and configure storefront API scopes. I'm just going to select all of these because, this is just a tutorial. If you were doing it in production, you might want to change these slightly, but, for the sake of tutorial, and it's just for us, I'm going to allow everything. And once that is done, I'm going to save the configuration, go back to the overview and install the app. So just install it like so. App to the demo project and filing.
Okay, it's interesting. I will figure this out.
Hey guys, it's your boy Joe back at it again, codingphase.com. In this video, we're going to talk about this question that I received from one of the subscribers here from the channel. And he said, hey, can decide whether to go with Shopify app development track or the front-end development track, right? And what I will say is, guys, that either one is fine, right? And you know why? Because they both overlap each other. Okay, if you look online for most of the jobs that are looking for Shopify web developers, you can see that they're pretty much asking for the exact same things that you would have to go and take in a front-end development, right? And the same thing for, like, let's say Shopify app development or even theme development. So let's take a look at this job here. It says Shopify web developer dash e-commerce, okay, letting you know exactly what's the industry that they're focusing on, okay. What you'll do: manage site code base built on Shopify Plus, ensure all the code on the site is in use or removed, build new Shopify storefronts based on mockups and wireframes, manage private applications built for Shopify, okay. Construct design solutions with e-commerce team, didn't work closely with UX designers. Say, I need one now to have my business make some money, okay? So again, it brought a lot of... Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about, should you become a Shopify developer in 2023? Is it
all right,
fastest way for you, right? And who should actually become a Shopify developer? So we're going to cover a lot of things in here in this video. Hey guys, in this video, we're going to teach you guys what is Shopify, right? So Shopify is a content management system, right? It's a platform where you can sell products, right? You can have discounts, you can have secure user data, right? Guys, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna show you guys about 5 different categories that passive and active income with the skills that you guys already know. Guys, I'm gonna go in, you guys to join other times you get. Let's go into the first one that I have here, some examples of niche websites. So let's go into the first. You also have access to a whole bunch of different applications. So don't matter what type of business you might have something like a digital product, or maybe you're selling products online, maybe drop shipping, right? So again, it doesn't matter what type of business you have, you can use Shopify to sell your products through their platform, okay? Now, again, a lot of people use this. Every time that you see like an advertisement on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you're going to see basically products are being promoted through advertisement. I could tell you right now, probably 95, 99% of those stores are built with Shopify, okay? So again, it's a platform that everybody uses. Now, again, for you as a developer, why should you care about Shopify? The fact that there's so many people using Shopify, it basically allows you to say, hey, you know what? There's going to be a high demand for this skill. Now, becoming a Shopify developer has 2 different career paths that you could go on. You could say, I'm going to become a Shopify theme developer, or I can become a Shopify app developer. A Shopify app developer is more on the back end, right? Basically being a full stack developer to create applications within the ecosystem of Shopify. And a Shopify theme developer is pretty much a front end developer that knows how to create websites, create themes, and connect them through Shopify's, Liquid, or using their APIs, right? So pretty much it's just, if you ever use WordPress or something like that, it's like the WordPress of e-commerce, okay? So again, a lot of people here on codingphase.com, you could go and check out the career paths that we have here, the job, and you're gonna find out that, guess what? There's a lot of people that need Shopify developers. So again, a great opportunity for you guys. Now, let's talk about over here as far as, you got Shopify store.
Okay. You don't learn me anything here.
Recently, I've been kind of talking with a lot of beginner Shopify developers, people that want to start freelancing or they're looking for a job. If you're new to this channel, this isn't the type of video that I usually do, but I have about 6 or 7 years of experience as a freelancer, specifically on Shopify websites. So I thought I would help you out with some easy tasks that you can use to get started. All right, so the first place to find ideas for services or features you can build is this YouTube channel. I'm not saying this for some self-promotion. You realize this, each one of my videos are things that clients have asked me to build. It's not like one-off things that people have asked for. It's things that people have asked several times. That's how I know that it's a popular enough topic for a video. And I don't do keyword research or anything like that. All of my videos are ideas that I got from jobs that I actually did. They're also all quite easy because half of this channel is developers, half of this channel is Shopify store owners. So it's like really easy beginner level features. So particularly if your development skills are at that beginner level, then you can build all of these features that are on my YouTube. Literally just go and build all of those things on your development store, on Dawn theme, and you will already have like a portfolio and a bunch of experience in the most common things that people ask for. Okay, so that's like the easiest level. My channel, and obviously other channels as well, any tutorials. Good channel is Coding with Jan. A lot of you probably follow that one. Basically coding tutorials, but not coding tutorials like Introduction to Shopify Liquid or something like that. But I would recommend building specific features, okay? Coding tutorials for building features on Shopify. The Shopify ecosystem has a bit of a problem. If you haven't noticed yet, it's the fact that to do almost anything beyond what your theme can do, beyond what your theme settings allow, you will need to install an app. Okay, and that's pretty annoying because apps cost money. Apps can slow down your store if they're like apps on the front end. And you end up with like, I mean, if you got a complex store, you can end up with like 20 apps or more. Yeah, that's just not very good. A lot of store owners are not very happy with that. So a lot of my videos are actually things that can replace apps. And a lot of my work as a freelancer were things that replace apps. A lot of store owners don't know that they can hire a developer to build the same thing as an app, and they'll just be unhappily using an app for months or years and paying that app monthly, which they don't want to do. But if you can offer them that same feature, but for a one-time payment, then they will gladly accept. Okay, so just browsing the App Store can be a good source of inspiration for services that you can offer. So I'm going to click on Browse All Apps, and I'm going to go maybe filter by apps that are for store design. Let's take a look what's going on here. So easy FAQ page. You can build a template on Shopify stores for FAQ stored all apps. And I'm going to go maybe filter by apps that are for store design. Let's take a look what's going on here. So easy FAQ coding tutorials like intro, things that clients have asked me to build. It's not like one. Recently, I've been kind of talking with a lot of beginner Shopify developers, people that want to start freelancing or they're looking for a job. If you're new to this channel, this isn't the type of video that I usually do, but I have about 6 or 7 years of experience as a freelancer, specifically on Shopify websites. So I thought I would help you out with some easy tasks that you can use to get started. All right. All right, so the first place to find ideas for services or features you can build is this YouTube channel. I'm not saying this for some self-promotion. You realize this, each one of my videos are things that clients have asked me to build. It's not like one-off things that people have asked for. It's things that people have asked several times. That's how I know that it's a popular enough topic for a video. And I don't do keyword research or anything like that. All of my videos are ideas that I got from jobs that I actually did. They're also all quite easy because half of this channel is developers, half of this channel is Shopify store owners. So it's like really easy beginner level features. So particularly if your development skills are at that beginner level, then you can build all of these features that are on my YouTube. Literally just go and build all of those things on your development store, on Dawn theme, and you will already have like a portfolio and a bunch of experience in the most common things that people ask for. Okay, so that's like the easiest level. My channel, and obviously other channels as well, any tutorials. Good channel is Coding with Jan. A lot of you probably follow that one. Basically coding tutorials, but not coding tutorials like Introduction to Shopify Liquid or something like that. But I would recommend building specific features, okay? Coding tutorials for building features on Shopify. The Shopify ecosystem has a bit of a problem. If you haven't noticed yet, it's the fact that to do almost anything beyond what your theme can do, beyond what your theme settings allow, you will need to install an app. Okay, and that's pretty annoying because apps cost money. Apps can slow down your store if they're like apps on the front end. And you end up with like, I mean, if you got a complex store, you can end up with like 20 apps or more. Yeah, that's just not very good. A lot of store owners are not very happy with that. So a lot of my videos are actually things that can replace apps. And a lot of my work as a freelancer were things that replace apps. A lot of store owners don't know that they can hire a developer to build the same thing as an app, and they'll just be unhappily using an app for months or years and paying that app monthly, which they don't want to do. But if you can offer them that same feature, but for a one-time payment, then they will gladly accept. Okay, so just browsing the App Store can be a good source of inspiration for services that you can offer. So I'm going to click on Browse All Apps, and I'm going to go maybe filter by apps that are for store design. Let's take a look what's going on here. So easy FAQ page. You can build a template on Shopify stores for people to do like these collapsible FAQ drop-downs, right? With a toggle. A terms and conditions checkbox. That's definitely something that I've been asked to build so that, people have to click the checkbox before they can add to cart or before they can proceed to the checkout. Free shipping bar, anything that's related to like announcement bars right at the top. That's really easy to build. Trust badges. Trust badges are basically just a grid of like icons, right? What do they do here? Okay, so they add these icons at the bottom of the cart page. So you're just editing cart.liquid, adding a little block here and some theme settings so that people can upload small images like this underneath the proceed to checkout button. That's super easy. Just browse through the App Store and you'll find plenty of things that you can easily build, right? Front-end things. Front-end apps can always be replaced. Back-end apps, of course, that's a lot more difficult. All right, moving on. So the next thing is actually one particular app that I want to talk about. It's called Vitals All-in-One Marketing. And this is like, I don't know what they say, like 40 apps in the one app. And they're all just little features like this. A client can just install one app instead of like 40 different apps. And they have things like product reviews, upsells and all of that, recently viewed or related products, like the thing that I'm building actually that looks almost exactly the same, right? But what would store owners rather do? Pay $30 a month or maybe pay you or me one time? All right, moving on. So
Okay. Masura.
the next thing is actually one particular app that I want to talk about. It's called Vitals All-in-One Marketing. And this is like, I don't know what they say, like 40 apps in the one app. And they're all just little features like this. A client can just install one app instead of like 40 different apps. And they have things like product reviews, upsells and all of that, recently viewed or related products, like the thing that I'm building actually that looks almost exactly the same, right? But what would store owners rather do? Pay $30 a month or maybe pay you or me one time to build something completely custom for them. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking out Vital's app and then seeing what from here you can build easily using front-end code onto your theme, onto your development store, and then you'll have something for your portfolio. So let's go through this actually in a bit more detail, and I'll tell you what exactly I would try building. Shipping information. Okay, there's many ways that you can display extra information on the product page, and it's just up to your creativity, or rather, what kind of inspiration you can find on other sites. Announcement bars, I've spoken about that earlier when talking about apps. That's super easy. Payment logos, that's super easy. Trust seals and badges. As you can see, there are plenty of things that you can do that just involve showing a grid of images on the product page, or creating a section that can be used anywhere. Pop-ups, stock level. So I actually have a tutorial for showing the stock level on the product page. And by the way, I actually have like a whole playlist called Shopify without apps, right? And these are all things that apps do that you can actually do without apps. One of those things is contact forms. So you should learn how to edit the contact form, because the contact form in Shopify can be used for a lot of things. There are various stores like wholesale stores, for example, that need a wholesale application form. There are also forms for like custom products, for stores that sell custom products. And they usually have also various forms is contact forms. So you should learn how to edit the contact form, because the contact form in Shopify can be used for a lot of things. There are various stores like wholesale stores, for example, that need a wholesale application form. There are also forms for like custom products, for stores that sell custom products. And they usually have to install some kind of app for that, right? But you can actually build them a contact form just by duplicating Shopify's contact form, adding some fields to it, and then you have a second contact form that works natively in Shopify instead of using an app. Okay, so we've talked about apps. Now let's talk about themes. Themes will have different kinds of features, especially Dawn, like the basic, the free themes, they don't have many features, and a lot of people are using them actually. They're the most popular themes, and yet they're lacking many features that other themes have. So let's take a look at Broadcast actually. This is one of my favorite themes. Here's a feature that I really like, the logo list section. Dawn doesn't have a logo list section like this, and it's so simple. Again, it goes back to the idea of a grid of icons or images, which I talked about before for trust badges and for payment icons. Well, here's a logo list section, and it's like the same thing. All you need to be able to do is build a grid with images or icons, right? And you can add a logo, right? And then you can choose the logo image, the width. One of my favorite features about this theme is actually this pop-ups block, this pop-up section actually, that is on the page, and they give you the ability by adding blocks to actually have different kinds of pop-ups, and many themes don't have a built-in pop-up at all. So this can be something that's really useful, I think. And again, we talked about the GDPR cookie consent thing. Well, cookie consent is built into this theme, but it's not built into other themes, which forces people to use apps, or you can offer your service. So my recommendation here with finding inspiration from themes is basically this: get really familiar with Dawn and with all the free Shopify 2.0 themes, but they're all basically Dawn with different design. And then once you know off the top of your head all the sections that are available in Dawn, you will be looking at other themes and you'll be like, oh, that's cool. That's a section that's not available in Dawn. And then you'll start thinking, okay, how can I build this onto Dawn? And that will be another service that you can offer as well, and another thing that you can build and feature in your portfolio.
Lorsqu'une entreprise possède un site internet, elle rêve de plus de visites, plus de...
Now, there's one particular theme that people talk about a lot on YouTube, for example, on Instagram. Influencers always talk about this theme, they Bootify, because it offers good affiliate.
Should take people who are thinking about what I should do.
payments. That's the real reason. But anyway, Debutify kind of offers like a lot of features, right? So it's kind of like a mix of the Vitals app, but built into a theme, which is like a good idea. So they have a collection of 57 boosters, all those things we talked about in Vitals app. A lot of these are built into Deboost. So age check, that's a pop-up basically that doesn't allow you to enter the store. That's a really good idea for something to build. The agree to terms checkbox I talked about before when we were looking at apps. Yeah, of course, there's also cart upsells. There's the add to cart button on collection pages that allows you to quickly add something to the cart without going into the actual product. Color swatches. Of course, Dawn theme does not have color swatches, and that's a pretty easy thing to set up. There's already tutorials online. I believe a channel called Weekly How has a tutorial on color swatches in Dawn theme. So, okay, I'm not going to go through all of these, but you get the idea. Go through these, consider each one of these, and then try to brainstorm maybe different variations of them and how you can build that onto Dawn theme and onto various other themes. And I'm obviously repeating myself by now. I just thought of a bonus tip while editing this video, hence the change of wardrobe, and also it's a different day. But I just thought that if you're a beginner, you might have watched through this video and it still seems quite intimidating to build a lot of these features and you're not really sure where to begin, particularly if your skills in HTML, CSS, or Liquid aren't that good. Obviously, you need to continue advancing those skills, but there's still a way for you to start freelancing without being really good at coding, and that is by using page builders. My advice is for you to become an expert in page builders. My advice is for you to become an expert in page builders, to specialize in page builders for this beginning stage of your freelance career, while you still improve your coding skills. And if you're not familiar with page builders, they're basically apps that you install into your Shopify store, and they give you a drag and drop interface for building custom pages without using code. And they're not really intended for web developers. They're more for store owners, for designers and stuff like that, or they initially were. But now they've gotten quite advanced. Over the years, features keep being added to page builder apps, and now they actually require some skill and knowledge to use. Not as much as coding, but more than your average store owner has. So I've actually been hired to do web development using page builders, and that was an okay job. It was kind of chill. As a beginner, that would be just the perfect job. But anyway, because you're a web developer or a beginner web developer, you already know more than enough to be using page builders. You're going to find them quite easy to master. And if you're offering your services as an expert in this very specific niche of using page builders, then that's quite a strong offering that increases your chances of being hired. And it also offers a very gentle start to your freelance career. Yeah, the last thing I want to mention is the comments on my channel, right? Because I post coding tutorials, and not only on my channel, but on other coding tutorial channels. Look at this question. Could I do something similar to this to create specific descriptions, possibly in a collapsible tab, determined by which variant is selected? So she's got basically different product descriptions for her variants because they have different scents, ingredients, etc. And so what I would recommend is this. This is a big topic, so I'm only going to scratch the surface in this video. I'm not a fan of like cold reach out or anything. I'm not going to tell you, oh, go like email random people. I hate that. Anyway, look, what I would recommend is this. Once you know what kind of services you can offer, you want to actually let people know that you can do that. And the way to do that is to put that information out there on the internet, to share what you actually made, what you built. Obviously, like social media is good for this. If you're not big on social media, the thing that I recommend is actually blogging. You might have seen my website, ed.codes. For all the tutorials that I do videos for, I also write a text tutorial for it. And so when people are Googling something like how to show the variant SKU number on product pages, they will find this tutorial. You don't have to make a YouTube video for it. If you simply write out the tutorial, like some basic instructions and the code, chances are most people are they'd rather just pay you to do it. So they're going to contact you. So like at the end of your blog post, you could have a contact form saying, do you want me to do this for you? Well, here, contact me, you know. And this is actually very effective. If you're thinking that it's hard to be found on Google as a blogger, that's because everybody's having like travel blogs or something. If you're blogging on specific topics like this, that's so niche that you will probably be matching the exact keywords that people are looking for. How to show variant SKU number on product pages in Dawn theme, like you have a very high chance of being on page 1 of Google for that. You have a very high chance of your article being the only article on the internet that actually covers that topic. Okay, so don't doubt yourself really. Like you can start a blog, like a coding blog, and actually be very easily found, and a lot of people could be contacting you. The next thing that I'm not sure if I should like recommend, but I'll tell you about my experience, and that is Fiverr. I actually started freelancing on Fiverr. That's where I got my first gigs, and that's where I found my... So I've actually been hired to do. The next thing that I'm not sure if I should like recommend, but I'll tell you about my experience, and that is Fiverr. I actually started freelancing on Fiverr. That's where I got my first gigs, and that's where I found my first clients. A lot of people really hate these types of websites. They think that it drives prices down. I disagree. I think that it's really easy to stand out on these kinds of websites when you offer something that's actually a quality and professional service. My account is closed now, so I can't show you that anymore. My account was closed by my fault. Basically, I had multiple Fiverr accounts, which is against their terms of service. So that's my bad. So I'm not sure if I would recommend like building your entire business around Fiverr, because they can just close your account like that and you got no business anymore. But that was a great place for me to start, because all of those clients that I had on Fiverr, they just started reaching out to me via email and not going through Fiverr anymore. So that's where I got my first clients, and that's where I got my first experience. Now, the other really unique thing about Fiverr is that it's not like Upwork where people look for a developer. It's actually the other way around here. You offer your gigs, right? What are your gigs? They're the services you offer, and they're like specifically packaged and priced, right? So all of these things that I've been talking about in this video, you can package these into a specific service, give it a specific price, and then resell that many times. And you'll be able to copy and paste your code on a lot of these jobs and not actually do the whole code again. So that's what I like about Fiverr specific about in this video. You can package priced, right? So all of these things that I've been talking about in this video, you can package these into a specific service, give it a specific price, and then resell that many times. And you'll be able to copy and paste your code on a lot of these jobs and not actually do the whole code again. So that's what I like about Fiverr. That's like kind of the reverse of the usual like job marketplace where people are looking for other people. Here, people are actually browsing for services, and you can have a portfolio of services that you provide. But there may be other websites like Fiverr that actually are based on services. I just haven't heard of them. All right, so that's it. That's the end of the video. All right, so that's it. That's the end of the video. And I realized that it still leaves a lot of things unanswered, and you might be finding it hard to take action right now. But I'm ready to elaborate and to answer your questions in further videos. So like I said, this isn't the typical kind of video that I do, but if you want me to do more talking videos like this, more career-oriented videos, please let me know in the comments. This is kind of interesting to me, and I'd like to continue that. So leave your questions in the comments. Let me know what you'd like me to talk about. Good luck with your first freelancing jobs, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay. That's all. I think that's all for me. I think that's all for me, bro. I think we have explored in this video all the possibilities we can really explore with Shopify, Theme Developer. What I plan to do really is like to go from zero as a theme developer, like right now, as a Shopify developer, like right now, I don't know the platform, I don't know how to do something here, to something as a theme developer in Shopify. So we will work on that in the next few streams. And that's all. Bye-bye. See you. Take care.